You didn't come this far to play small. This is Winning Daily, the podcast that builds winners in life and in business. Welcome home.
Scott, take us in, man.
All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Scott Schoenheit. I am the owner of 2 independent personal training facilities down in San Diego. Stoked to be sitting here with you guys today. Thanks for having me on. Episode 21, let's go.
Hell yeah, that's right. Okay, that was
good intro.
Yeah, that was a really good intro. I think you need to sit right here and interview us. Yeah, we got episode 21. Where it's a privilege to have you here, man. We probably should have done this a little sooner than now, but what better
late
time?
than never.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a really good episode for 2026 because you obviously.
Am I the first one for 2026?
You are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
First one for
Number one,
2026.
yeah.
Isn't that
Took a
wild?
little time off. So
Yeah.
we needed it, man.
Yeah, we needed to kind of regroup.
25 took a lot out of a lot of people.
It did. It sure did. Yeah, but it's hard to believe that I looked at the calendar and I was like, man, we're already flying through. Yesterday was the 15th. We're halfway through the first month. Are you
Time
guys
goes faster.
Do you have a lot of those like
It's
new year,
crazy.
new me people? Are you with your trainers and that kind of stuff?
Say that again?
Are they doing a lot of the new year, new me people right now with like being a gym owner?
Oh, of course.
It's hot right now.
Of course.
Would you say it's more or less than last year?
That's a good question. I'm honestly not sure. I would say from my vantage point, I would say it's a little less, but that's because we're rebuilding our system. So I guess I don't have as much insight
Yeah.
into the type of lead production that my trainers are getting. And that's just the difference, right? Between being like an independent personal training gym versus a gym where I have my hands in every single
Right.
cookie jar.
Yeah, you have to have a million conversations with your trainers to kind of garnish that information. Hey,
Yeah, but I will say my trainers are busy. The gym is busy. The gym has great energy going into the new year. Everyone's super excited and super stoked, and I think 2026 is going to be good for all of us.
What I did notice this year though is I think it was last year and the year before there was more emphasis on people getting sick over the holidays, and it dragged on where people didn't go into the gym for like January. Like all that stuff didn't hit or come into effect until like February, and then we got really busy. This year, the first we got busy. So I think last year to this year, people were like, "Hey, I'm not gonna go, aggressive and go to all these events and get sick." And people were a little bit more.
you could say balls to the wall in this. This is America, Drew. Okay.
Wait, can we pass on this?
Oh, of course.
Okay, just wondering.
Fuck
just wondering.
shit.
Yeah, I
Bitch. Say whatever you want.
It's gonna make it hard now.
I know.
If we don't get a lot of views, it's because of you.
Okay.
He just said, you know what I'm saying? You can, dude.
Just joking.
You said you can do
Not
whatever
that I
you want on
want
here.
you. I'm just this
But
year.
so anybody that's watching this right now that needs to understand, can you explain like what your business model is, how you guys make money, like what the MO is, and what a little bit of your history here?
Yeah,
What you
for
got
sure.
going on, man?
So we're a little different than your basic membership gym, where we specialize in taking care of independent personal trainers. And I think that's the obvious, clear, key difference there. And within a natural progression of a personal trainer's career, they're typically going to start out, well, obviously getting their certification, right? And then from there, it's going to the gyms that they know, probably the gyms that they go to, which is 24-hour fitness, which is Crunch, which is any typical big box gym. But what trainers quickly find out is that you're capped there, right? And you're capped in 2 ways. You're capped by the amount of money that you can make and the type of skill set that you can develop. Hopefully that the gym that they're at, they're able to do sales, they're able to generate their own leads in order to develop those skills. But there's many gyms out there who have a sales team and their role is to generate leads and fill up their trainers. And then the trainer's role is to purely service sessions, which is great because then they get to develop their skill set of personal training. But then again, you are capped with the amount of money that you're making. And especially when you live in a place like San Diego, like where I'm from, it is extremely expensive, right? And really just anywhere here in California. And it could be hard. It could be really, really hard to build a life that I think we all want to build in a setting like that. So then trainers look for more. And really the next progression after that is to build their own brand. And that's where we fit into the industry, is we create the space where trainers can come in. They don't have to build their own facility. They get to lease our facility. They don't have the upfront equipment costs that they have to take on in order to build their own facility. They don't have to get into a long 7 to 10 year lease and take on the risk that comes with that, or the funding sources or anything. They can sign a contract, sublease with us, and they have access to the whole facility to be able to build their business out of.
It seems such like the concept just seems unreal. It seems like a no-brainer.
For sure.
Like this is kind of a stupid question because I'm not embedded like you guys in the gym industry, but does every gym in the United States have personal trainers inside of them? This is a stupid question.
Pretty much to some degree, but like a lot. But some locations like
It's a secondary form of revenue.
yeah, it's a secondary form of it. But like okay, so
Or
big,
tertiary.
like a big box gym. This is like the funny part. Like I look at a big box gym and they're 20,000, 30,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
They have 3 or 4 trainers and they don't even fill up. And I'm like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But you could see the difference.
Yeah.
And I think Scott's facility, my facility, I think we house over 40 to 50 trainers.
Each, right?
Yeah, each.
So you have 2 facilities.
84 trainers on.
I was gonna say, right? I know you have. At any given time, you'll have anywhere from like 75 to 90 trainers under your belt easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not counting more that you've trained and they maybe moved or like they've come through your system and
Yeah, those are active trainers.
on your roster.
Yep.
What about members? You have a lot of members.
Yeah, so we have the VIP pass, and that gives access to the facility without a trainer, but I limit it to 15. So it's a high ticket
Per location?
membership per location.
Per location.
Yep. So I have 14 in one location and only 2 in the other location.
Hey,
Primary focus 100% is personal training.
Would you ever do something that's hybrid, dude? Like, would you ever? Let's just say you're maxed out with what you got going on right now with these 2, and without looking to do a third model, what you're currently in right now, would you ever do something that was more hybrid, where it's like member focused to more member heavy focus? And this is what I mean. Like, okay, let's just say this, for example, I was talking to Marc about this with like maximizing revenue per square foot. Let's just say that your rent and overhead and your bills at a gym in San Diego is, call it $40,000. Is that something that we could say? Let's just say it's $40,000 a month just to cover, like just to pay the bills, keep the lights on. Okay. At however many square feet that is. Okay. How many members at dollar point per membership? Let's just say you want to do a higher ticket membership. Let's call it, if it's more membership focused, call it $60 a month, right? So you would take $40,000 divided by 60, and then that would give you X amount of numbers. So that amount of members is what you would need to hit to cover that, just to pay your bills. So the members pay your bills, and then the personal trainer revenue and all that. And then you have other streams of revenue. Maybe you have a smoothie bar, coffee bar, like our boy Arturo from Madhouse. He has a coffee bar because he was like, wait a minute, I could offset and subsidize the cost of my front staff by having a coffee bar here. And he's like, and it's part of the brand. People hang out, they spend more time in his gym longer. I'm like, that's freaking smart.
Don't you subsidize your rent with subleasing?
Yeah, we have subleased space inside of our facilities. So cold plunge infrared sauna, we have massage therapists, we have DPTs, things like that.
With three
3 subleases. I have 2 subleases in my gym in Point Loma, and then I have 3 subleases inside of my gym in Del Mar.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Which is a bigger square footage, right?
yeah, exactly.
So has that ever been on your radar?
Yeah, here's the thing with that, dude, is like my pure passion is personal training. Like that is what I thrive in. That's the world that I come from. I'm a trainer turned gym owner.
Right.
And so my core mission is to help trainers continue their career in this field. Like that's the mission right there. That's what I get a lot out of that. It fulfills me. So I want to remain that as like, I want to make sure that remains the mission. And then everything else on top of that, I would absolutely consider. That's the thing. It's like, especially in business, like I would never say no to something.
Right.
I would never put hard yeses in it. If it makes sense, it makes sense. But as long as that core mission is there where we can take care of trainers, then 100% I would consider something like that.
I like that, because the reason why I'm asking is because think about it like this. If same business model, you could still have ICs there. And I use this as an example because I work out in another gym in Riverside that does this, and they have like an open floor model. It's like 28,000 square feet. They've been around for a while. They're established. Talked about it a few different times on the podcast just for like, relativity purposes. But basically this dude, he's got maybe like 20 or so trainers, give or take. But the problem is when you have that open door for membership, how do you distinguish when someone's coming in and like training under the table? You know what I mean? But if you have your cultured out, and I think those people are kind of easily distinguishable, and that also makes a person approachable. So maybe recruit them as a trainer, and say, hey, look, if you want to train here, you can make money doing this. But however, this gym that I'm talking about, there is no education there. There is no person there where Adam walks the gym floor and he's like, hey man, like, you make a really good trainer here, and I see you over here doing your thing with your buddies, maybe y'all are working out together or whatever, but you could come over here and become a trainer and actually make money doing this. You ever thought about that? So that's why I was asking, because I know that you guys are trainer focused. Another thing I want to say too is, can you explain to the people at home and just kind of really quick how you do your mentorship? Because what you do is not the same as what I've been in any other gym or anything like that.
Yeah.
Explain what you do,
No, I
because it's savage.
Because I know that's what helped us connect so well. Like when you first came to Self-Made and reached out, and the first time we ever met was you coming into one of my mentorship classes, and we just hit it off and have
I saw like a fly on the wall in there, and I was mind blown. I watched this dude take a laptop, open it up upside down, and like show how to build a formulated spreadsheet upside down. I was like, I think I'm in deeper water than I know what to do with right now. Like, dude, I've been successful in business. I'm like, what he's doing with these trainers, this is sicker than your average. So Can you explain a little bit to like what you do?
Yeah, here's the thing. So just to kind of walk it back just a little bit on how we got there, was when I first came to Self-Made as a trainer, I was very blessed with a very good reputation, and it was very quick that I built my business. And so within like me navigating the natural kind of momentum that I had, I kind of realized like I really don't know how to get new people other than who's in my current network. And so that was always in the back of my mind. And then what happened was I started seeing other really, really, really talented trainers, like A-level trainers, come in, but then not know how to generate leads, not know how to do sales. They don't know how to retain the few clients that they do have, and they would leave. And it's unfortunate because, like I'm telling you, like they were great trainers. They really did know what they were talking about. They just didn't have the skill set to build a business.
Right.
And then I started to realize, I'm like, do I have the skill set to build a business, or am I just riding momentum from being in this area for so long? Mm-hmm. So that's when I started diving deep into how to build a business, right? And what I really learned is there's 5 crucial skill sets that every business owner needs to have in order to continuously thrive, which are lead generation, lead nurture, be able to nurture the leads that you're driving, sales, be able to sell the leads that are coming in at a high level, fulfillment, so being able to provide a world-class service and understanding and knowing what that is, and then retention, so retaining the clients that you do have on your schedule. If you can master those 5 skill sets, you can build a business. So then I started to build a whole curriculum of how to do that, step-by-step process. And
as a personal trainer, fitness professional.
Yeah, exactly. So I was the lead trainer over at the facility that I was at in San Marcos. So I kind of tested it with a few trainers.
So you started at San Marcos?
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, I started as a trainer over there. So
maybe I did. Maybe I forgot.
Yeah, I was managing a big box gym before. I was managing a big box gym before, and then when the idea came, or I should say the opportunity came to open up a Self-Made, I remember going into Miguel's office, and I walk in there, I'm like, hey, like, here's the numbers that we're doing, here's the culture that we have, like, I'm ready for this, like, I want to open up a Self-Made, like, let's go. And he was like, that sounds great, quit your job, go independent, and then we'll talk. And I remember just being like, oh, I thought I was going to manage the gym I was at until I'm ready to open my gym and like not have to do that step right there. And I will tell you, that was the best thing that I ever did.
He pushed you in the pool?
He pushed me in the pool. That's it. I went in, I put my notice in the next day, and I went independent. And so that kind of leads into what I'm talking about right now, which is recognizing that there's a major flaw in that step right there, which is just purely like, you can't rely on the skill set that I have as a trainer. You have to build a whole new skill set of being a business owner. And so that's what I saw when I knew I wanted to open up my own gym and I wanted to lead my own independent personal trainers. And so, yeah, I started with building that curriculum and testing it on a couple trainers and seeing their business move forward and seeing them generate new leads. And that was sort of my like proof of concept of like, okay, I find fulfillment out of this. It's working. I'm seeing the results out of it. How do I take it to the next level? And ultimately, like, the coolest part about like what I do versus what trainers do is we do the same thing. Mm-hmm. Our businesses are identical. We still need to generate leads. We still need to nurture. We still need to sell. We need to fulfill. We need to retain. The only difference is the fulfillment is different, right? Like, we have different deliverables, which for me, Like I'm focused on changing the lives of personal trainers through business, and my trainers are focused on changing the lives of their clients through health and fitness. So the deliverables are different, but the same path is there.
It's micro, macro type of thing. It's kind of tit for tat. I was going to say this because there's been a lot of times you and I, in full disclosure, have worked together for a couple years. There's a minute or a moment where you just said that you quit your job you put in your notice the next day. For people to understand that and have the context of that, because how many people out there that are a fitness professional or maybe listening or see this on social media or watching this at some point, how many people, like what percentage of people think actually do that?
A lot less than you think. A lot less than you think. I believe that.
What did it take for you to do that?
It took a lot of, blind faith, honestly. I would say blind faith. But here's the thing is like the hard decisions become easier over time. Like I remember the very first like hard decision that I had to make in my career, which was I was at this gym and I was doing group classes twice a day. I was also doing an internship on the side. It was unpaid. I wasn't making much money, but I was living at home with my parents. And it was comfortable, like it was. And I was there for 2 years and I was getting experience. And most of all, like I loved the clientele that we have. I absolutely loved the energy of the gym. I loved everything that we did. But I knew that I was restricted. At least in the back of my mind, I knew I was restricted. And so I remember being at community college and I was talking to this guy, Ben. And I remember Ben being like, yeah, I had clients. And this was at like a 9 a.m. class. And yeah, I had clients at 8 a.m. And I have clients like right after this class. And I was like, you have morning clients? I'm like, yeah, people train in the morning? Like, that's crazy. Like, where do you work at? And he was like, oh, I work over at Crunch. And I was like, man, like, I think I need to go check that out. So I went over to Crunch and, I talked to them about coming over and it just turned into this huge, like, pros and cons list, huge pros and cons. And I remember talking to my mentor at the time. And when I was laying out all the pros and all the cons, he's like looking at me, he's like, you know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. Like listen to your tone of voice when you're talking about this versus when you're talking about that. And that's when I knew. I was like, I know. I just need to make the hard decision, which is being uncomfortable, going into a new environment and sink or swim, right? Because that's what it is. Like when I tell you that, like the only thing I've ever clicked in my life of what I want my career to look like, it was personal training. There was nothing else. I was in summer school for 3 years out of 4 in high school. I dropped out of college. Like I really did not have any direction. Personal training was the first and only thing that I was ever like, that's something that I think I can do. So when I'm finally in this gym environment and I'm training, then going into a new environment where I have the potential to fail, it's not just failing, it's having to find a different life path. And that was very, very, very scary to me.
I was just going to say, that's got to be.
Dude, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And looking back, I'm like, that was the easiest decision that I've ever made. But at the time, it seems really scary. So then when it went from Crunch to self-made, going in there as an independent personal trainer, it was the same level or like the same feeling that I had. But the difference was I had a little bit more trust. Because it worked out before, right?
Yeah.
Like I had success before. I went from being a trainer in 3 months, I took over as assistant manager. In another 3 months, I took over as manager. And through that process, you just build a level of like trust and resilience and skill, right? To where once you go into independent personal training, it's like, okay, well, if I knew that I had success before and what's on the other side of this type of success is owning a gym, then it's a no brainer. So I sat on it for one night, went in the next day, put my notice in, and quit my job, and then I went independent. The next time that I was faced with that same decision was I had signed this lease for Del Mar, and we were just about to get this project going. At the same time as signing the lease, I remember posting a video about it, went public with it, and then the owner of Self-Made San Diego reached out to me. His name's Matt. So Matt reached out to me, and he was like, hey, I'm moving out of state, and I'm looking to sell my location. Like, do you want to do this? Like, do you want to buy my location? And I remember having this conversation with Chris, my business partner, and he was like, hey, like, you're running these. You've never ran one. Can you run two? Like,
you got a mouthful of food. You want another bite?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Do you want another bite? And I was like, well, hey, I haven't choked yet. Like, I haven't failed yet. And every time that I've been in this position, like I've shown myself that I can do it, right? I built a wildly successful independent personal training business. Like I have just an obnoxious level of trust in my own skills that, or at least my own grit, that I'll figure it out. Like backing against the wall, that's at least what I've shown myself is I'll figure it out. And we jumped into it. We went from 0 to 2 locations in less than a month.
Damn, son.
And it was just, again, sink or swim. And it's worked out. It's worked out so well. And so now, like, I really believe, like, you just have to keep putting yourself in those positions to fail, because first you learn what you're about and the type of actions that you can take no matter how uncomfortable. And then over time, like, you just build that level of resiliency to where every decision that you're faced with just becomes a little bit easier. And ultimately, like, that's how you continue to progress through business, is you keep throwing more stuff on your plate. You learn how to navigate it. You become more efficient with those things, and then you can just increase your capacity, handle more and more and more. And so now it's like, I can't wait for the 3rd location. I can't wait for the 4th. I can't wait for the 5th. And so, you know, I'm excited for that. I see it.
Do you sometimes, like when you have to make decisions like that, you kind of hope they're difficult because you know it's going to make you a stronger owner, person, friend? I don't know. This might be some sick thing.
I get what you mean.
You know
I'm going to say no to that because it's
Kind of like,
really
God, like asking God to humble you type of thing.
Like, do I wish every single thing I did was as difficult as possible? No, but I am so thankful of how difficult everything has been because of the level of resiliency and how you learn how to navigate those problems. So if you're never faced with those problems, then when real problems do occur, that's when you fail. And if you have all of this risk of these long-term leases and all this debt and, you know, all these trainers depending on you, and then you have to learn how to navigate those obstacles, and then you fail. Now you're really letting a lot of people down.
What I mean is like a resistance, like, you know, how your body, you get sick and it builds resistance. It's kind of the same thing mentally, is like, man, I've been through this. I've been through this. I've been through this. And I think the point is what you just said is I don't want to be like my age. For you, you're mid-30s, right?
30.
You're 30.
30.
Holy fuck. I thought you're talking.
I know, I'm an old man now. It's crazy.
So, but you don't want to be my age and then doing those, having to fight those demons or those problems.
Yeah, so I do believe like you'll face hard things at any point in your life. And if you keep doing hard things, like what could be perceived as hard earlier in your life doesn't seem so bad, right?
Come on, you're 30?
I'm 30.
Did you know he was 30?
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. I thought you were much older than that. You're much more mature than 30.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
This is beard.
Still
No,
patchy. It's a 30 beard, but we're getting there. We're working on it.
Because I remember at 27, I started my business and I was like, God, the terrifying stay up late at night, just like, I got to quit this. But you're 32. So it's like, that's amazing. That's great.
I will say this. There's a very cliche term out there that I absolutely love, which is choose your hard.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, you're going to face hard things. Yeah. And being a personal trainer in a big box gym, making $20 per hour, your gym does 30-minute sessions, so you're getting paid $10, and then you got to take tax out. Like, the hard part about that is you're in a really, really tough spot financially. You're in a really tough spot to grow towards your future goals. It's really hard to become financially free in a space like that. So while it might feel comfortable, there's still hard things on the other side of it. And so, you know, choose your hard. It's really hard to live a sick life when you're, you know, later in life, in immobile life.
Right.
And it's also hard to lift weights, but I would choose the decision to lift weights and to be healthier earlier in life to afford the easier, you know, healthy body later on.
So,
and I think that's where, you know, it social media, internet has done some great things, right? Which has shared amongst like the young professionals, like the possibilities of these things that you go into business for yourself, right? And so a lot of people are sharing that and giving that guidance. But another part is like, they're not sharing what the hard part is.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're, you know, like a part of it, everybody's like talking about work-life balance. I'm like, if you're starting young and you want to go into business for yourself, choose your hard.
100%.
The hard part is you're not going to go out on a Saturday night. You're not going to go out and have fun with your friends. You're going to choose to be in the gym trying to figure out how do you run your business, right? On a Sunday, you're not going to play basketball on the weekends because or watching football. What are you going to do? Spreadsheets.
100%.
Because you're going to do spreadsheets for
spreadsheets
for your clients for the next
Don't turn me on, Adam.
but like, you know, and I get it. It's kind of hard because you have to not be fantasy football with all your freaking friends, but you're doing a spreadsheet for your clients for the next week and doing all this stuff. But at the end of the day, that's what it's already the recipe, and it's been there for so many years to make a profitable business.
For sure.
It doesn't change, right? You still have to put in the work. Even like now, I see a lot of trainers and a lot of business owners, they talk about AI and they talk about like other technology that helps them. But also because it helps them, there's helping somebody else. So for you to stay up with everybody else, you still got to put in that extra work. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden it's working for me so I can sit back and not do anything. No, it's...
You actually work more.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't realize it.
You use the tools. It helps you move faster, right? But you yourself is still trying to put in the extra work. Why? Because there's going to be another gentleman or another business owner that's using AI to support theirs.
Yes.
So you gotta
the entire market is accelerating simultaneously.
If there's always going to be somebody that is going to outwork you.
Yeah.
And you just pray that they are not in your industry, you know, or they decide to open up a gym right next door to you.
100%.
Then you're like, dude, if he works a little bit harder than me, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
And most people realize that is really what it is like, I'm not smart. I'm not say this negatively, but you're not smart. There's nothing special about us.
No.
We just work hard.
Yeah.
I
we work
100% agree with that. And, you know, every year it's always been this like kind of eye-opening development of like, you just learn how to work harder every single year that you're in business and you love it. Like it's absolutely a choice. And I think the beauty of like what we do, especially as a business model of working with other independent personal trainers, is it's in your hands.
Yeah.
It is 100% in your hands if you're gonna win daily or if you're going to lose. And the only way that you lose is if you just don't put in the work.
Yeah.
It's not about being the absolute best. It's just about being consistent with the actions that you take every day. And when I see trainers phase out and I see trainers who don't have success in the independent training space, the common denominator always is I struggle to take consistent action. Yeah. And so then a lot of my mentorship has always become, or it has become, how can I help trainers take more confident, consistent action every single day towards their
consistent
business.
action.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your skill set is.
Oftentimes it's killing inconsistency.
Yeah. Sure.
Which begs the question of why you're inconsistent.
Yeah. Like, let's talk about this. Like, marketing is one of the biggest topics that we touch on, right? Because it's always, I need leads. I need leads, right?
Yeah.
So if my goal is for 1 million people to see my content this year, I can either spend all of my time filming one video that I'm praying goes viral and catches the algorithm that 1 million people
Which will probably be your worst video.
Or I can make 1 million pieces of content and post them multiple times every single day and guarantee that 1 million people are going to see it. So then that problem that you're solving no longer becomes how can I make better videos? It becomes how can I make consistent videos?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then because you're now making consistent videos, naturally that quality is going to get better every single time that you do it.
Well, you have more control over it too.
Yeah.
Right. Like you make one video, you're like, you make 1 million videos, you know, you're gonna be successful.
It's impossible to not have other people see that, right? It's
and we try to rack there.
takes that guesswork
Such a
out
good
of it.
analogy too of like what separates people that fail versus people that don't fail is like they just want to make one video, dude.
Yeah.
You want to make 1 million.
Or you make one and it doesn't do what you
30,
think it's
dude?
going to do.
You're really 30?
I am 30.
Mark's stuck on that.
I know.
Like, well, here's why. Is you just didn't open your gyms yesterday.
Right.
How long have they been open?
I'm going
4 years?
4 years, February 1st.
So this conversation is really with the 26-year-old is the way I'm thinking about it. Is like, where are most 26-year-olds right now? Just getting out of college, freaking not having no clue what they're going to do in life. And this generation still living with their parents, most likely, right? Yeah. Just because it's so tough out there right now.
Sure.
And dude, you're 4 years into this.
But see, the other thing too that I like,
I'm just telling you guys from my perspective, I got you all by 15 years. You might not think, dude, I hang out with people that are like that. You hang out with a kick-ass crowd because that's not the norm.
that's not the norm.
You might think it's the norm because it's just who you are, but that is not the norm. There's a lot of people that are going to watch this be like, holy shit, those guys are lucky, right?
Sure.
Oh, they got lucky, or your family's got money, or whatever. They're going to come up with some excuse, but that's not the norm. That's what happens when you fucking grind.
And I will say, like, there's always a level of luck, but you create your own luck.
Sure.
And, you know, I mentioned this earlier, but in high school, I'm telling you, 3 years out of 4 years of high school.
I didn't want to bring it up
in
again.
summer
I didn't want to bring it up again, dude. When you said that,
this
like, I don't
is
know if the camera
relatable.
picked it up. I was like, is he serious?
No, I'm dead serious. And
You had to go to summer school?
I had to go to summer school 3 of my 4 years of high school. And even my senior year, I wasn't going to walk. And what happened was my English grade was so bad that my teacher pulls me aside and said, look, it's in my control to let you walk right now. So look, you can either come up in front of all the English department and explain to us why we should let you walk, or you can go to summer school and then walk after summer, but you won't get to walk with your class. So I had an easy decision. I went in front of all of my English teachers and I wrote them a poem. And in that poem,
And he brought it here today. He's going to read it for us right now, bro.
In that poem, I explained, and it was so funny is I actually do have it on my phone, but I told them like why I should walk, and like ultimately like
Sales.
my
His-
biggest
his-
issue.
his inner sales guy
That's what it
kicked
was. It was like, here's
Yeah.
why you should let me walk. No, but I think the important lesson here is like I just didn't find value in traditional education, and it just pushed my love of learning to the side, because growing up I loved to read, I loved to learn, but I just didn't know why I was there. That was the big disconnect there. So then when I went to college, which I went to college because of course like that's the natural path, and my parents want the best for me, and so they pushed me to go to college, and I was a semester in, and same thing. I just didn't know why I was there. So I stopped going to classes. I started partying, and I started experimenting. I started doing all the things that I wasn't able to do in high school. And that led me down, you know, this huge pendulum swing all the way over on this side, to where like I had no direction, but I was just figuring out what life is, right? Mm-hmm. Who do I connect with? What do I enjoy doing? I knew I liked sports. I also knew I liked to be independent, and to kind of just go against the norm. But that only takes you so far. So then when I dropped out of college, I started working, and the place that I was working, I could see like all of the 40, 50, 60-year-olds who were working there. And I'm like, that's my path. Like that's what I am going down. Like that's the type of job that I'm training for. And I did not like that. I knew that wasn't me. It served this purpose in its moment, but I knew that wasn't the long term. So I was actually going to join the military, because I like working out, I like moving, I like doing, guy stuff, and it seemed fun. And I had a lot of friends going in the military. So glad I didn't. But I remember this so clearly. It was September, and if I didn't figure out what I was going to do by January, then I was going to join the military. So then I started telling one of my buddies who was going in the Navy about it, and he was like, well, fatso, if you're going to go into the military, then you better start working out. And he started taking me to the gym, started working out, starting to get back into shape. And I just fell in love with it. Like it completely changed my entire perspective. My perspective before was, this is who I am. Whatever happens, happens.
You were
Wait,
you were a thick boy?
I was skinny fat.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I was like
Well,
an
he said-
ex-athlete
he said
who
back
went down
so
the party.
horny.
Like, yeah, my friend's like brutally honest. Hello
Okay.
again. Dylan, shout out. Love you.
Yeah.
He's just always been very real with me. But like he is the reason that I am sitting here, because he was able to be real and honest. Like, dude, you are completely out of shape. You used to be in shape, not anymore. You better get in the gym with me.
Yeah.
So we started working out, and then that's where like what that showed me, truly what the gym showed me, is that I can change who I am. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, I started with physical goals, but I saw my whole mentality change. I showed myself that I could literally grow out of this person who I didn't know I was unhappy with, but I can recognize that now, and I could be someone else. And at that point, like that's what inspired my love for learning again. Because now I can start listening to podcasts, I can start reading books all about health and fitness, and I can take that information, go to the gym that day, and apply it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, why isn't school like this?
Right.
Like this is so like sweet. Like I was so stoked about it. And then I started connecting with all the trainers that at the 24-hour fitness that I was going to, and I was like, you get paid to help other people feel the same way that I'm feeling right now. Like, let's go. Like, this is exactly what I want to do. And I never looked back, went down the certification process. And from there, like, again, like my mindset has always been, I will always be the hardest worker in the gyms that I'm at or in the class that I'm at. And I think what was really pivotal in my training career was I went to community college to do an in-person certification because I know my learning, call it, I don't know, disabilities or whatever you want to call it, barriers. But I cannot sit in front of the computer and self-learn something that's being thrown at me. Put me in a classroom.
A lot of people don't.
That I can see someone move. I can see what they're talking about. There's real life examples. There's a lab that I can take about something I'm super passionate about. All of a sudden, me as a C, D, and an F student aced all of my classes. I think it was like 10 different in-person classes, straight A's all through, you know, all those classes. It was all NASA material. And I remember like, dude, like my teacher, Troy Baker, love you, dude, has just been so pivotal in my career as well. And so when I found out that he has his own facility, I was like, oh, I got to work for this dude. And what he does is he owns a facility called Adapt. And what Adapt does is they train people who have had strokes, any sort of neurological disorders. So multiple sclerosis, any sort of like stroke victims, any quadriplegics, paraplegics,
Cerebral palsy,
cerebral palsy, anyone who has a disconnect from their brain and their body.
Got it.
And I remember just being like, man, that is such an advanced level of training.
Yeah.
Like I have to be around that environment. So after the semester, I went up to him and I was like, call him Troy now, but at the time, Mr. Baker, dude, I will mop your floors. I will set up your stations. I will do anything that you tell me to do. If you don't even have a job for me, just let me sit there and just observe. And like, how can you say no to like someone who's been engaged in your class the whole time, literally putting work out there for free? All I want to do is just be in an environment where I can continue to consume more and more knowledge. And so he welcomed me in, and I did that for just under 2 years. And that was the same time that I was over at 1A1 Fitness doing my group classes. So I was doing those group classes, and then I was doing that near full-time internship.
Like niche work.
Yeah, exactly. Niche work. And you know what's funny too is like all of the movements that we did at Adapt were all of the same movements that we do with all of our clients.
Yeah.
Right? Basic movement patterns.
Yeah.
We're squatting, we're hinging, we're learning how to get up and down off the ground, we're learning how to pick things up. It's all the same. You just learn the very, very, very basic regressions to all of those basic movements. And if you can learn what the very, very basic regressions are, then the progressions start to make sense, right? You naturally start to put stuff together. And so I think that was really pivotal in teaching me how the brain and the body works in personal training with your clients, especially with clients who are unfamiliar with movement, and learning that movement's a skill. And so it's learning about how to build that skill. Same thing with business. I think this is why it all ties in. And so again, just the mindset of being like, I'm always going to be the hardest person in the room. I'm going to try to be proactive as I can. And I'm going to be as valuable as I can in whatever team that I am in. And I just think that mindset is what's provided me the opportunities that I'm in. Because even when I went over to Crunch, I took over as manager in 6 months, assistant manager in 3 months. But again, like my mindset coming in was like, who's the best trainer? How much is he selling? And I'm going to sell more than him.
Trace and follow.
Yeah.
And they beat.
And so I found out who the best trainer was, which, was our manager. And so I set up a consultation with him so I can learn from him. But my mindset was, I'm going to sell this dude.
Yeah.
I'm going to sell him personal training. I don't care if he's the manager with a full schedule. Like, I'm going to sell this dude personal training. And I did. And that was the first sale that I ever made over at Crunch. And I think that just unlocked a level of confidence that it just, that just unlocked me, honestly. And so then I hit the ground running. I did as many sales as I can. My schedule filled up super quickly to where it was undeniable that I can lead a team. So then when I took over as assistant manager, COVID hit. And it just disrupted everything. I mean, we went from like, dude, we were running away with these numbers. We had in our ownership group 6 gyms. We were the smallest location, and we were doing the best personal training numbers of all the other locations. And then again, COVID hit, it just halted everything. So then we had to navigate that. And what we did was we actually turned it into a private gym, right? So cool, gyms aren't open to the public. Well,
Not by choice, right?
not by choice, exactly. But it was anyone who is a personal training client can come in and use the facility, and you know, we can train our clients, and then the facility's open to personal training clients. So what that did was we boomed, like we absolutely boomed. We sold so much personal training in that time, and it was a really good solve to a really tough problem that we were struggling with. So then once we opened up like officially, that's when I took over as manager, and same thing. It was like, okay, so my mindset was, I remember my very first day taking over as manager, we did what were called kickoffs, which, you know, in the industry we call them consultations, right? Where you're sitting down with your clients or potential clients, and you're talking through what their pain points are and providing a service that's of value to them. And so our record as a location for one single person was 8 consultations booked in one single day. So I just, in my mind, I was like, all right, well, if 8's the record, then I'm going to do 20. I'm going to do 20 as my very first day as manager, and just set that bar as high as I thought that I could set it. And what that did was I showed up for work, and I just started talking to everybody, every single member, welcomed them all in, started learning names, started learning people, started asking questions. And I booked all 20 of those consultations by lunchtime. By 12 o'clock, I had booked 20 consultations. And I remember being like, oh my God, like I'm getting no no's right now. And because I think it was just like, I just set the bar so in my mind high that the only way to get there was to do what was deemingly uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was going to say, or seemingly impossible. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you just have to get out of your own way to go do those uncomfortable things, right? Which in this case, it was go out on the floor and talk to people. Because I think that's what people really struggle with, is that human to human interaction. And can I confidently ask you what you're struggling with, and can I provide that solution? That's ultimately what we do as trainers in this industry.
Yeah.
And so all I did was just do that times 10 and got over the fear of being told no, because yes, of course I was told no in that process. But I ultimately did so many numbers that I hit my goal, and that's it.
It's in a commercial gym, correct?
This isn't a commercial gym.
And that's why it goes back to my question earlier about like, would you ever have a hybrid model? Because of like the ability to like be like a heat sinking missile on the floor, approach that person, have a conversation, and solve a problem for them. Man, I talked about on this week's coaching call. I got a commercial gym membership because it's out of convenience. It's 4 minutes from my house. Like I have basic 3 memberships, one at my home gym, right? And then I have this commercial gym membership, and then I have another one that's by my office in Riverside that I can go to. And that's a bougie gym, right? They got all the good gym equipment. It's more of a club, more of an atmosphere. It's dope. But this one is a true commercial. It's Fitness 19.
Yeah.
And right, dude.
Very first gym I ever got a membership.
Really? Yeah. Okay. So you know, and it's you know, a Skittles bag of people in there, right? And you're gonna have every different type of person. But if I were a trainer, that's exactly what I would do. But the ability to sharpen that blade of like, hey, if I'm going to do this, like how many people could I possibly, you have the fish in the barrel, that Marc says this all the time, to shoot those fish in the barrel, metaphorically speaking. And so when you set that bar, it's like, hey, like these people are already here. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to solve a problem. How can I help you? And I think that once that, like Andrew's point this past week on our coaching call, he was like giving that analogy of like a lion being in the zoo versus a wild lion. Once you take that lion that's been in the zoo and you release them into the wild, the level of success, it's like, dude, you better have some wings that you can learn how to fly with. And so that's why I was going to ask you. I didn't want to stop you, but I wanted to ask you, this is a 2-part question. What do you, 3-part, what do you deem as a successful trainer? Dude, for everyone watching this, if you guys didn't catch this earlier, we clipped this out. This guy has anywhere from, let's call it 80 to 90 trainers on his roster at any given point in time, right? And this is in San Diego, probably one of the best personal training markets in the country, I would argue. It's arguable. It has to be that. It has to be there, dude. Yeah. I don't know. We could probably pull numbers and see. However, what would you, being a multi-gym owner in San Diego with your fingers directly on the pulse of the fitness society in Southern California and San Diego, and obviously working with a nationwide fitness franchise at a top level, what would you deem as a successful personal trainer right now?
I would deem a successful personal trainer as someone who is extremely confident in their craft, competent in their craft, and they have good systems that can solve for implementation. Because I think at its core, what people really struggle with is implementing all of this information that they're learning. For example, if I have a goal of I want to lose 40 pounds, the first thing I'm doing is probably going on Google and I'm going to type in how to lose 40 pounds. If I find something that I like, okay, I need to move more and I need to eat less and I need to try this diet and
GLP-3.
yeah, do these exercises, I need to take this peptide, like whatever it is, like this is so much information that I'm getting thrown at me.
Right.
Yet it's been another year and now my goal is to lose 50 pounds because I never hit that 40-pound weight loss goal. And then the next year, now I need to lose 60 pounds because what I truly at its core struggle with is I struggle to implement all of this information that is being fed at me in this, age of information. So that means the best personal trainers can solve for implementation through the systems of their business, because I believe that our trainers, their packages are there to solve for different implementation problems. So like a trainer who has a 3 times a week one-on-one personal training program and a call it 5 times a week group fitness, right?
Group, yeah,
exactly.
Small group talk.
Someone who has no refined skill set of movement, if I throw you in a 5 times a week group fitness class, like you're going to be so overly sore, your body's going to ache, and you're never going to learn the skill of movement as efficiently as if you were in this 3 times a week one-on-one program. Yeah. So your prescription now becomes this 3 times a week one-on-one program. For someone who is like super consistent in the gym, for someone who is dialed on their movement patterns, they know how to eat relatively well, but they really lack structure. I have a family of, 3 kids. I have a wife. I have a full-time career. Like, what I really need is structure. They would probably get away with, or I should say do well with, a prescription that's more like 1 time a week, right? Where you're coming in, you're fine-tuning some small movement adjustments that you may need, but the overall structure of I'm doing all your programming, I'm delivering those programs through an effective app, I'm helping you with your diet, and I'm giving you set macros, and I'm navigating different meals while you're still cooking for your family and have all your other responsibilities. You'll do really well with a less frequent training program, and then you go off and you execute everything else because I know you can do that well. So that's what I mean by like a successful trainer ultimately will have really good systems of their business and solve for implementation no matter what the pain point of your client is going through.
I think that's okay. So from my opinion, that's what makes also the same exact thing makes trainers fail. Trainers don't have an issue with not having enough technology. Trainers don't have a lead generation issue. Trainers they have an implementation issue. They can go out there and gather all this information. They go to mentorships, they pay for this, they do this, they have all that. Their biggest thing is they don't put it into implementation. Now, I've seen it over and over again. And if this speaks out to you, start to execute.
Why do you think that is?
There's 2 parts, right? One, and I think that all of us have this, it's ego, right? And how it becomes ego is
damn Adam, I'm gonna scoot over a little bit, then. Dude.
So this is what happens, right? We were just talking, and Scott put a very good point out.
The views and opinions of Adam I do not directly reflect it's a winning daily.
So
Get my face out of the frame, Adam.
Scott said this very, very specifically, right? He said that there was 2 types of prescriptions or however you want it for these 2 different types of clients. I'll say this. A lot of trainers out there that come from the big box gym, come over to independent, they have one trick pony. Yeah. They have so every single client that comes to them, they go, you need to be with me 3 times a week. The one-on-one sessions and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, why?
The world is a nail and they are the hammer.
Bootleg play over and over.
So now all of a sudden they go out there and they come up with a cool, really nice, 3. These are the 3 programs I have, but yet you're only selling 1 program, and I get that too, but
at different frequencies is what you're saying.
Yeah, but then they're not paying attention to their client. That's what Scott was just saying, right? And I think that's a lot of times is like I always tell the trainers, ask questions, listen, right? Ask questions, listen. Look at how their body is. Look at, let's say for instance, what their schedule is. How does all this stuff? Because you want to put people in your clients in a situation where they will best succeed.
Where they're gonna win, son. You can say it.
They need to win daily, right? So if I came in and somebody was like, I have an hour a day to sit there and work with you, right? About an hour a day. Am I going to put them a full session every single time and work them? No, I wouldn't. I would try to figure out ways to like, hey, let's break this up and focus on how I'm going to get you to win every single day, incrementally, right? So the plan is very specific to that particular client. This is where a lot of trainers kind of failed because they came in, they had one trick, this Hail Mary that worked one time or a couple times, and they did well. Now they're going on their own, and then they go, okay, well, that worked for me now. I'm going to do it again. And that ego comes into play because why I say that is you will have mentors and coaches and other people telling you, you need to put more systems in place. You need to use more technology. You need to look at this, broaden your kind of, outlook on these particular things. The ego comes in and says, wait, but this one worked for me all this long time. It got me here. So why is it not going to work anymore?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that like starting a business requires a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Just like starting a health and fitness journey also requires a lifestyle change. 100%. And so the answers, this is what I say all the time, is like the answers are, you're already giving them to your clients. You just got to follow your own advice.
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, what we got?
It's going to piggyback that, and you kind of just spark something.
What are you guys, the green team? I just noticed this. I don't know, or the black team?
Yeah, green team, black team.
So that's a sign of intelligence, and somebody wears green a lot, just so you.
Yeah, sorry.
So I heard black stands for sexy. So.
Well, I'm
Sexy and intelligent. Damn, Marc.
In the body.
So my question is this: like we did training hundreds of times at different locations,
Literally.
and I'm not from the gym industry again, but there's one thing that always just confused me going into the gyms, and it was, to me, it's a professionalism thing. How professional are you going to be? It's actually two. One is wearing slides as a personal trainer in the gym, but the most important thing is, and maybe I'm off base here, but the actual frame, the body, the in shapeness, I guess you could say, of a personal trainer. How important is that? Because I've seen a lot of sloppy ass trainers out there that are successful. Is that a thing or not? And I always think like, well, I could be a good basketball coach for the Lakers and I'd be out of shape. Does that really matter? Or, you know what I mean? Like, can you just be out of shape and still be a good trainer?
The answer in short, I would say, is yes. If like you, like, yes or no, in absolute, I would say yes, it can be that way.
And why aren't you? Would be my next.
Well, I would say that the people, everyone is different. Right. And you never know why somebody may be like that. Like somebody, for example, let's look at a couple of examples on an easy to understand level. Like Hanny Rambod, for example, he's the greatest bodybuilding prep coach of all time. Hands down. He has 24, 25 Olympias under his belt. Like he's not the most in shape dude, arguably. He's not some shredded dude with a six pack, but he is a winner. He wins. That turns out wins.
Those guys cheat though?
No, it has nothing to do with that, because if somebody was able to attain that level of success in what he does, it is a certain type of niche. It's prep coach, it's bodybuilding prep coach. I'm just using him as an example. The same way like a football coach or something like that.
Yeah.
Like Bill Belichick won all these Super Bowls. Is it Tom Brady? Who's the tribute to success to? Defense wins championships, whatever.
But they're not
there's a
pressing healthy lifestyles like a personal trainer is. Like, hey man, you got to eat this, you got to do this.
What do you define? That's why I was asking Scott, what do you define as success, right? Like what defines a successful personal trainer? Is it a 6-figure income, right? Like what is it? Is it the amount of lives that they impact? Is it the scalability of their business? Like what exactly defines them as a successful personal trainer? And kind of going back to that, but I think to answer your question, that's what I vote. It would be, yes, you don't have to be in shape. However, I will argue that if you what's up? Yeah, round is a shape. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that is a very good way to say it. I would argue that your body is a billboard,
Yeah.
and you should never ask people to do something that you've never fucking done before.
That's okay.
That makes no sense. Why would I ask somebody to fix their credit if I never had to fix my credit? Why would I ask somebody to become a better business owner or invest in themselves if I didn't do that, right? And so I think it's like, hey, you have, it's.
And I think it's also your perception of what in shape is, right? So like and mine kind of goes depending, like it's changed over time, even for myself, based upon what I want to do as an activity. I was literally telling Gabe the other day, like before when I was doing a bunch of races and all that stuff, I got
You
really
can say it,
small.
dude. Tell them.
I got a little like skinny bitch, right? And I sat there, like just like marathons, triathlons, and like Spartan races. So I would run a lot, but I lost so much weight, but I didn't like it personally, right? And so I was like, and then you kind of go through these different phases. So for me, it's not necessary that everybody has to be a bodybuilder in order to do weight loss, but you have to, I do agree that you have to live somewhat of a healthy lifestyle. I don't agree with somebody that like sits there, doesn't do the things that they tell other people to do. Like that's my perspective. It's like you have to walk the walk in order to tell somebody. It's like you can't tell people to take risk if you're not a risk taker. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's confusing from
really
where
confusing.
I sit. Like,
yeah.
Well, first off, a lot of people aren't going to buy the bullshit right out of the gate because they're not going to hire you. You're like, I'm a personal trainer. Yeah, okay, whatever. Not successful. You might train your mom or whatever. Yeah. So I'm not going to hire you. So they probably have a hard time.
Leave it up to Mark, dude.
Yeah,
leave it up to Mark to keep it 1,000.
Don't limit who it is that will take you seriously and who will trust you. Because I think, this is sort of the dichotomy of the industry is a lot of people want their trainers to be these shredded coaches, but like sometimes those shredded coaches aren't very good coaches.
Yeah.
No shit.
And you have your coaches that aren't, their appearance doesn't appear to be in the best shape possible, but they're phenomenal coaches.
Yeah. Right.
So I do think there is a balance there that should be had. And to Adam's point, it's because you'll have better insight into the process if you practice those things yourself.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like, how can I tell you to take a risk if I've never taken a risk? But if I've taken risks before, here's my experience on how I've navigated those risks. And you can learn from the lessons that I've applied to myself and all of the other people.
Skip the pain points.
Skip the pain points.
And also sometimes we don't know what the situation is. So let me put one example out there. I've known a couple of trainers that do really, really well. And if you look at the very first, outlook at them, you'd be like, okay, they're a little heavier set or not completely in shape. However, what if I told you their story? They had just lost 120 pounds.
Yeah,
they had a full
matter of relativity, right? Yeah,
but if you
It's a really good point.
Yeah, but you didn't know their whole story yet, and so the beauty of that one is all their clients are on the same path as them. So that's where, like from the outside in, I'm like, if you look at them really quickly, you're like, they're still a little bit, overweight or like, just on the heaviver side or not fully in the shape.
They're not a Greek god.
Yeah, but if you look at the full timeline, their journey, it's tremendous. Yeah. Like they did this naturally. They did this, through exercise, through routine, through mental, wellness, like all these different things over the last year and lost over 100 pounds.
I would think they would be an excellent trainer.
Exactly.
Right? Just because they know the mental toughness part of it, which is probably one of the hardest.
The only thing I put out there is that I want the trainer to be doing or living the lifestyle that they're going to tell someone else.
Yeah, exactly. I will also say this too. In the last year, I've lost 40 pounds. And I don't know if you guys knew that or not, but obviously we've been working together. So you can tell, yeah, exactly.
I was going to crack a down joke and be like, where'd you lose it under your bed?
I don't know if we can click like, one of my transformation pictures in here or not. But I will say like who I was pre 40-pound weight loss compared to who I am now, I am so much more disciplined and efficient and with a bigger capacity. And I have learned how to manage a significantly heavier workout like schedule, right? Like demand, like 5 days of workouts a week, a run a week. I'm at 127 days of 10,000 steps straight. I am tracking all of my macros every single day for the last year. yet I'm still accomplishing more in the business than I was before, only doing 3 workouts per week. So I think
Shout out your trainer.
Yeah.
off of Lobby Adioti, Body by Lobby, my guy. And I think this also goes back to what we were talking about before, is like, I didn't need help with form. I didn't need help with the accountability. The biggest thing I needed help with was structure. That's it, right? Structure. So I do online training with him and it works perfectly. It's at a budget compared to in-person sessions. And like, I will never not invest into something like that.
Time out. Hold on. Time out. I
I'm
got.
sure you weren't just prepping for putting a ring on it.
That was a big part of it.
That's a
Was the-
that's a motivator, I'm sure. But hold on. Time out.
Yeah.
How much? Let's do this really quick.
Yeah.
You could doesn't have to. You don't have to say exactly how much you spend or whatever. Let's just say you're spending X amount of dollars a month.
$350 a month.
Okay, there it is. You're spending $350 a month in yourself
Yep.
as an investment into Scott. Yes.
Yep.
And it is echoed in what ways do you feel like has made you more money? If you could directly or indirectly attribute those dollars that you're investing into yourself by working with this trainer, how is it reflected in your life and your business and into more dollars in your pocket?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So I feel like first and foremost, from a leadership standpoint, right? Like, this is what we were just talking about. Like, do you have to be in shape to be a personal trainer? Well, do you have to be in shape to be a gym owner?
I think so.
I think so too. I really believe
We went
so.
to the show
And-
and we were all at that show. That was the first thing I brought up.
Yeah. And I think that it was just a level of like, or I should say like a lack of confidence when you see yourself in the mirror and you're not a reflection of what you're talking about. And so once you start to instill those disciplines, then it no longer becomes I can't do it because I'm just starting my business. It's like, no, you can do it because I'm running 2 facilities. I'm managing clients at the same time, and I'm taking care of myself and my own health. So yes, you can go do it. You just have to solve for implementation. You have to figure out how to implement those things into your life. And so I think there's a level of leadership that has come out of it, right? To be able to command that, like, okay, if Scott can do it, then I can do it too, 100%.
Did you ever feel like, oh, I'm a fraud? If you're a gym owner and you're not in shape and everybody else around you, like, you're like, oh, I'm not preaching. I'm not even.
Look,
practicing what
I
I'm
never thought of like myself as a fraud because I wasn't in shape. A lot of it was just like, it got away from me. And I didn't really know until it was too late. Until one day I'm like looking at the scale and it's like 212 pounds. And I'm like,
Nobody
wow,
told
this
you?
is,
Nobody told you?
Yeah, I think
it's not that nobody told me. It's not like I wasn't aware of it,
Yeah,
but you
that's what
just,
I'm
you
saying.
use excuses,
Excuses.
right?
You
That's
use
what it is.
excuses.
It's like,
It's like-
dude, I am so,
subconsciously, but at the same time, you're like, but I had to do this, but I had to do this. But I had to do
exactly.
this.
You give yourself those excuses and you
think
justify
everybody does.
why it's okay.
Yeah.
exactly.
Even
Until
personal
you make the
trainers,
decision that
Once you get older, dude,
Yeah.
it doesn't get easier, man.
It never does, right? Because you're gonna have wife, then you have kids, you have all these different things that's gonna add to your plate.
Yep.
But when you make it, and this is where it boils down for me, it's how you prioritize things, right? Because if you can prioritize your health, then it bleeds into multiple different other things, right? The crazy part is me prioritizing my health and just running and keeping, active and all that stuff. It gives me more energy to play with my kids.
Yep.
It literally does. It makes my day last longer because before, if I don't do these things, I literally fall asleep at the wheel. I've had that, right? When I'm just not as active early morning, so I can jumpstart that, I start falling asleep on the drive home. So there's just those types of things that people are, you gotta implement and execute, and then it bleeds over to other things.
Yeah.
And it goes back to like, even, we were talking about earlier, like I get asked a lot of times, all the time, like, well, Adam, you're blessed with smarts or you read a lot of books. How do you obtain all this knowledge and all this other things? I do the same exact thing. It's not the fact that like I had struggles with school, right? Undergrad, like high school and stuff like that. I think I was a junior and I had 0 credits. Literally, they told me I was going to walk, right? But then as I found things that I was interested in, that made me become a sponge. And when I read something that I didn't get, because this happens all the time, trainers are like, oh, I had to read that page 5 times. I'll tell you this. I read a book, and if I don't get the book, but I know it's a good book and I understand, or I like the topic, I'll reread the book. There's books that I read once a year. It's the same exact book.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
I read it over.
and this comes back to what Alex Hormozy always says, and this resonates with me like so well, which is you don't consistently need to be learning new things.
Yeah.
You need to be reminded of the things that you already know.
Yeah. And I just, because, the topic that we talked about on Winning Daily this past Wednesday, one of them was EQ, emotional
I
intelligence.
got it right here. I'm glad you brought that up. You may never call it out. I have it right here.
So emotional intelligence.
Paired.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about it because it was something that we talk about this all the time. You missed this, but I'll bring it up really quick. EQ, emotional intelligence. And Adam has talked about this before. Go ahead with your point right now, but I have it pulled up.
I'm telling every single trainer out there or business owner to read this book. It's Emotional Intelligence 2.0. Okay? Read it. And I read it once a year. I reread this particular book, and I've done it for the last, I want to say 7 years now, 7 to 8 years. That and Atomic Habits. I reread those two books every year. And because every single time I reread those books, it gives me a different perspective of the person that I am and the way that I look at life and those things. And then I apply it once again. Because those two you're always looking from a different lens, I would call it, right? Perspective. Because now you got a year older. Now you have more responsibilities. Now you have prioritization. Now you got to look at it like, okay, I got to reshuffle everything, and which is what is still important to me, right?
Yeah.
And if you can figure those things out on emotional intelligence, you know how to kind of relay those different things over to other people. Here's one thing that's kind of funny about emotional intelligence.
Was it?
Yes. Why I need to read that book again, because sometimes when I do things over and over, sometimes my empathy and sympathy for people kind of change.
Sure.
Because
Adam, play nice, Adam.
because one of the things we were talking about the other day, it's kind of like when you're repeating the same thing to somebody, you're like, okay, I get it that you didn't get it the first time, but how many times do I have to repeat to you? It's like the common sense.
How many times do you need to be faced with the same situation before you learn from it and change your behavior?
Exactly. Right? Yeah. So you're sitting there constantly doing it. So reading this book also reminds me like, hey, this is your ultimate goal is to relate to people. Your ultimate goal is to connect with, you know what I mean? Like
This is dope because this is something that a trainer had reposted some other person's content onto their story, and I was like flipping through stories one evening, just kind of like winding down my day. I don't consume too much on social media. It's most of my day spent making things, and so every now and then I'll just flip through stories like just to kind of see what's up, because most of my feed right now is sponsored ads. I think everyone's is now, like every third post is a sponsored ad. But this was talking about 7 forms of human intelligence. And there's IQ, which is intelligence quotient, right? These are different quotients or measurables of like, are you intelligent? Here we go. I just texted.
Is that what the Q means?
Yeah, quotient. Yeah, it's a measurable. So basically, I texted in our group chat so you could see it and have it. But technology's quotient, your ability to understand, use, and adapt technology, and AQ, which is adversity quotient, how well you are with hardships, pressure, and resilience, like thick skin, I guess. Intelligence quotient, obviously, your logical thinking, ability to retain information, I believe. Moral quotient, like your moral orientation and ethical behavior when no one is even watching. This one is, I don't know what PQ is. I think it's physics. I don't know what this is. Someone typed this and sent it to me, so I don't know if it's connection between body and mind. I'm assuming that's some sort of physiological quotient. EQ, emotional quotient, or emotional intelligence that Adam was just talking about. SQ, which is social quotient, the ability to interact and interpret social context and build connections. So it's dope to say, like, where am I weak at those things? Because here in Winning Daily, like our literal whatever motto or whatever you want to call it, our thing is brand, build, and scale.
Tagline.
Yeah, tagline. Thank you. It's brand, build, and scale. Like your brand is for who? It's got to pick a fight. Like, who is this for? Who is it against? Like, who is it not for, right? And then you can build that with systems and structure, and then you can implement on that. And then you have something that is scalable. And so we do that here. We take people in the fitness space and we help build that. And so I think that, to me, psychology has to be all laced into that. And I don't think that any person that we would even have on the show or even would be associating with wouldn't have some sort of understanding of this. But I wanted to put that out there because I thought it was really cool. I don't know, whose original piece of content that was or laced that together or where that really comes from. I guess I would have to do research on it.
Pretty cool. I've never heard that.
But it's dope because you think about social quotient. We talked about this with web developers. Like they don't touch grass.
Yeah.
Most of them don't touch grass, but not everybody's Marc Henderson, right? That has a social quotient as well too that ranks higher. And it's like, dude, if you could check, I would assume that if you could check more of those boxes and like invest more into those different things, you could become even more badass than where you're at in life. And so you can push the needle forward. But I wanted to get to those hot seat questions right now in a second.
I wanted to say something about personal trainers, what makes one successful. And I was thinking, I don't know as well as you guys do, but to me, a successful personal trainer is somebody that can scale.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of personal trainers. The reason I asked about whether you should be in shape or not is because obviously I built 1,000 of those personal pages, right? And a lot of them are like, dude, you trained? Even my wife would look at it and be like, that's a trainer? And then also some of these trainers, I see their social media, whether they're with the same facility or not. There's one in particular, I've seen her ads or her social media. She's always looking for new clients. I'm at this place now. I need clients right at this place. And she's just not in the best of shape. And I was wondering, does that hurt her business? Is because she's not in the best of shape, and I could see she's just run through the gamut of working at all these different places. So that's that kind of like just comes to the,
Dude, not necessarily. I think it like to put it to you this way, dude. Hungry dog eat, man. You know what I mean? I think it's sometimes it's just some people are killers. Their social quotient could be way higher. To Scott's point earlier, he was just talking about this, that there's trainers that they are way more skilled than me. They got a fucking degree in exercise science. But
you have to get in the door with them to be able to figure that out.
But their ability to think like, but someone should just pay me a livable wage for what I know. It's like, dude, not everyone's going to pay. That's not how this goes. Like, it is a tough road. Like Scott said, choose your hard.
Yeah.
Well,
choose your hard.
The other thing too is like, I always say this is like, you could speak to be heard or speak to be understood. Right. And the skill set, if you can, what I mean by that is like a lot of personal trainers will consume knowledge. They're consuming. They have all these degrees and all that stuff, but they cannot relate to their client or explain and regurgitate or say this particular or put it. Sometimes we call it layman's terms. You dial it down so you can explain it so they can get that connection. That's your missing part where you know what I mean? Like
the communication
portion of it. And so all of a sudden you could have this really intelligent personal trainer, but they're really not that great.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because they
can't create behavior change because they don't get their clients to understand it.
Yeah. And it was
Which goes back to the psychology thing that I was just talking about.
Because like I was sitting there and like I'm gonna tease some of my friends on this because like we're in a group chat about like trading and they use all these terminologies and I go, I don't fucking know what the hell you guys are talking about. And then the mentor that I was talking to, he actually just posted this and he was talking about Trump and Powell. Mm-hmm. And he goes, and he was like kind of explaining the situation and he sits there and he literally goes, those two guys were homies at one point, and then what they did was, and then he starts using like just regular term. I was like, I got that.
I'm speaking it.
Yeah, that makes
now
sense.
you're speaking my language.
He goes, yeah, they were homies, and then now what's happening is da-da-da-da. So it's taking the market and it's like, putting these people and that made sense versus somebody else using three abbreviations and trying to explain. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Goes the same thing with personal training. You're telling me the regret, like even push and pull, but people don't always think the same. Like what do you consider a pull day? What do you consider a push? And then you add these other variations on there. People just don't know. They don't.
Is that does like NASM and ISSA, do they teach? Is that part of the curriculum on teaching? Is like the communication?
I'm the same way.
Oh, communicate. No, I thought you meant like the
part of being this
program. Yeah.
No,
I don't think so. The way I learned, and this is the funny thing, is when I got certified, the way I learned, I tried the onlines, I wasted money. I bought all of them, could not do it. I had to drive down to San Diego because San Diego was the only one that did it in person, I believe. It was like
was it Maricosta?
I think so. And I drove down that one, and then I learned it, and it stuck.
Yep.
Everything stuck.
Yeah.
right? It was
That's
just
my
like,
way. I didn't
it's
read.
just my learning style. Yeah. So I was like trying to go online. It just go one ear and out the other.
Hot seat questions.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Okay, Scott, I got some hot seat questions for you.
for me.
I cooked these up this morning with like a little bit of fasted cardio and some caffeine in me. Okay, so let's just do these. Let's go this really quick. Okay, let's
go.
Hot seat questions. You guys can feel free to jump in on this if you guys want. But these are mainly for Scott, but you guys, you got a microphone in front of your face, so let's do it. What's one thing you'd ban in gyms forever? Hot seat, go.
One thing I would ban in gyms forever would probably be do actions count?
Whatever, dude. You're
Okay.
banning it. You got the
Stop keeping your sweat on equipment. I hate that.
dirty people.
I'm kind of like you. I have my gyms, but then I also live up in North County. I went to an LA Fitness, dude, and I was gonna go hit this machine, and there was sweat just all over
Hallelujah.
it. Dude, it made me nauseous. I was like, that is literally
He's weak
disgusting.
at the knees.
Dude, it was so bad. I would ban that.
What's your biggest I'm not built for this moment?
Oh, I'm not built for this moment. I'm not built for this moment. It's got to be. I mean, my alternative life path would have been professional sports. So at some point, there's some realization that I'm not built for this moment, bro.
Okay. What's your most unpopular fitness opinion?
My most unpopular fitness opinion.
Bro, these aren't hot seat questions, dude. These are difficult. I got to think.
No,
I know. I got to.
I got to use Scott as my chief for when you come to
My
me.
most
jump
unpopular
in.
fitness
Say
opinion.
what you got. So I would say, look, mine is intermittent fasting is bullshit. How about that? Like,
Is it?
I think so. That's just my opinion. Eat like an adult. There it is, America.
Depends. It depends for sure.
Like Scott's like, hold on.
It's like there's nuance to everything, right?
But you see
Like-
what I'm saying?
Bro, you got 3 gym memberships.
Dude, just say what you
work
want.
out all day long.
Okay, my most unpopular fitness opinion would be if you have someone who is telling you absolutes, they actually don't know what they're talking about.
There.
Yeah.
That's there it is. That's all. See how hard that is, dude? Scott, don't loosen up. Take the jacket off, dude. What what do gym owners overcomplicate the most? I know you got something for this. What do gym owners overcomplicate the most? If you had to pick one thing, go.
Trying to take perfect action.
Yeah. I think perfection, trying to be perfect will kill you.
I think that goes for
Yeah.
so many new business owners.
Stop trying to be perfect. Just
Try
do
to stop
something.
trying to be first.
Here's-
I explained. That goes with delegation too, because a lot of gym owners, business owners, try to delegate, and they cannot let go if it's not 100%. And I'm like, you're delegating. The whole point is delegating so you can do more stuff.
It could be both sides, right? Delegating too much or not enough.
Yeah, but a lot of times someone will delegate and expect it to be done exactly the same way they did it.
Yeah, don't delegate if you don't have the leadership skills to create the output of that delegation.
Have faith.
What's the number that you check like a psychopath?
The number that
A number, yeah, in your business. Top line revenue.
Oh, bank account.
Yeah, there it is. Okay. What's the
100%.
Okay, Adam, what about you as a gym owner? What's the number you check like a psychopath?
It is a bank account.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think you just every morning, right? Every night when he goes to sleep, every morning he's like, "Who's touched it? Where's it at?" Okay.
That's me with my crypto, man. I'm like, dude.
See, everybody's got something.
4 times while we're sitting here.
Everybody's got something that they're checking like a psychopath. Let's do this really quick. What mindset shift? I think we covered this earlier a little bit. Made you real money? Like, what mindset shift actually made you real money?
Stop worrying about being perfect.
There it is. Okay. How do you know someone's gonna win fast?
Because they can take actions without the negative thoughts of what could happen as a result of those actions.
Okay. What's the wildest bro science you've heard lately?
Intermittent fasting works for me because of my body type.
What do you got? What do you got, Adam? What do you got? Wildest bro science you've heard. I know there's some good ones out there.
That was yesterday.
Science, okay. As I know a lot of people. This is where I wouldn't say it's bro science necessarily, but I'm starting to see this a lot common, and I don't that people just take peptides and think that that's just gonna work.
Oh yeah, hallelujah.
Like I sat there, I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, this is gonna someone was taking like the Wolverine stack and was like, oh, this is gonna repair me, and I literally turned around and said, for what? You don't go to the gym. You don't go to the gym. Like, what are you in here?
Repair your. Oh my freaking Adam. Okay, Scott, you're 30. Has anybody called you Unk yet?
Not yet, but I'm getting there. I am getting there.
During the stash.
I got hit with Unk yesterday.
Like that.
Really?
Yeah, I got some kid hit me with Unk yesterday. More clients or better clients, Scott?
Better.
Okay. Boneless or bone ins?
Bone
Wings. Wings? Yeah, okay.
Boneless is just chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
we
do
talk
this-
about wings.
Yeah. Boneless or bone in?
Same answer.
I said Sarah. What do you think we're talking about, dude? Okay. More time or more money?
I think I'm at the stage of my life where it's more money, but I know I'm probably wrong about that.
Don't worry. We'll do episode
Dude,
two.
that
We'll do episode two.
That will absolutely, once you get past your mid 40s, that shit just flips. You're like, I don't give a shit about all this money. It makes 0 sense to me. It does.
I think what it also is because time. It's an exchange.
time,
It's,
dude.
it's time because whenever you work, you get more money, and the more money you get more time. So it's like an exchange for it. But I think also at a younger age, we don't have. In my life, I didn't have as many things to prioritize to do with my time.
So you had your kids later in life.
Yes, exactly. So now that's what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
so when I was early on, like I had it was dead time. Like if I had extra hours, I'd go to, like club, gym. And so it's not like meaningful. And as you get older, it becomes more meaningful. So that's why you take it back.
That is so true. Both my kids are in college now and they're gone out of the house. And this is recent. We're looking at like a year now. And I think about, did I spend enough time with them when they were younger? And I think to myself, think about your kids when they were 6 and 7. I can't visually see them. I see them as adults now.
All right,
which
Mark,
tells
you
me-
trying to make me cry, dude? Like, what the?
I'm trying to get some clicks, bro.
No, I know. Shit, dude. By me crying on camera, dude. I'm over here
No,
thinking
so
about my
really,
daughters right
for
now.
me, like you're at that age and you realize that, but man, spending time like with even just like doing stuff like this is cool. For me, it's cool. For you guys, it's probably not as cool.
I think it's awesome.
I think it's awesome.
This is it's
I'm happy
always,
to-
Well,
always
multiply
time.
that times 10. How awesome it is!
Okay.
You know, the
I didn't sleep last night because I got to hang out with you guys.
even the things that I do, going to the gym, going running, doing like stuff like this, and learning about like the market laws because I want to share it with my son one day. Yeah, like I'm like now he's starting to do jujitsu and all this other stuff. I'm like so happy. I go to every single freaking thing because I'm like, okay, now he's doing something that I love to do. So now there's like that connection that you kind of have, right?
Yeah, I'm doing all of this so I can have the affordability to have the time with my future family.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why and I was in the same way where when I didn't have the prioritization, I just had dead time, meaning like there would be moments where I didn't have anything to prioritize it for. I would focus on just the money.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 4 and 2.
And so, man, you didn't have kids till mid 30s, roughly, or
I'm 39. I have.
so you're 4?
I'm 43.
Are you? Oh,
Yeah,
geez.
I'll be 43.
Okay, I thought you were a lot younger.
43, huh?
Man, you guys
Asian don't crack, son.
like, dude.
Let's go. Okay. Chill life or savage goals, Scott?
Savage goals.
Coming from a San Diego boy. Jeez, but God broke the mold when he made my boy. Let's go. Profit or growth, Scott?
Profit or what?
Growth. Profit or growth?
Growth.
Because those are not always the same thing, are they?
I agree.
Be liked or be respected?
Be respected.
I agree.
Nobody likes me.
We respect you.
I know.
All right?
Beach body or strength goals?
Beach body.
Look at my boy. He said,
the-
he said, who cares about
San
being
Diego
strong?
boy, come on.
He said-
You know somebody? I was just talking about that, and I was like, I'm always about strength because I gotta carry my big ass freaking son.
yeah, bro. Dude,
I was like, I was looking at Brandon. I was like, abs ain't gonna help you carry this fucking boy over here.
yeah, boys.
I'm not taking a squat rack to the beach.
Yeah, dude. Okay. So the last question is, what's next for you, man? Tell people at home, tell us what you got. What's next? What's coming up for you?
What's next is to continue to develop my business mentorship program into a more, I should say, into the next step, which would be helping trainers become better trainers through in-person certification processes. In that process, we will continue to bring more value to the facilities and scale the facilities with bringing more facilities to San Diego. So that way we cover our whole territory.
You still have that goal?
And to get married.
You
Love you, babe.
Do we have
Yeah.
a date?
Not yet.
Do you still have that goal? I don't know if you care to share, but I remember at one point you had a goal of building a certain amount of facilities.
5.
Five?
Yeah, 5.
That's
Why
the-
do you think he just moved to where he moved?
Oh,
I need some clickbait. So, how long have you been with her?
I've been with Alexis for 8 years.
8 years. Took you
Long
8
time.
years, huh?
I did.
Hey, I heard.
I will say it comes back to what this whole topic of conversation has been about, which is priorities and making sure that you are building something that is sustainable. And it has had to come at the sacrifice of, delaying that engagement. But luckily, I think a big part of being with the person that you're with is the understanding, right? Is the understanding of
You've had that conversation,
what the vision
obviously.
is and what the mission is. And it's been this beautiful progression of while Alexis is building her life and her career, I've been able to build my life and my career. And then we're merging, we're actively merging these two, lives together. And so now is the right time. And so I think that's beautiful that we didn't have to rush into it and we've been able to build what we're building.
The beautiful.
I think that's
thing was,
awesome, dude. And
You said I couldn't do this like that, but supportive wife, and my wife does this for me, is when I open a new business or when I do something new, I obsess about it. Right? I obsess about it. I sit at the front of the computer, I study about it, I do all these different things. The ones that where you find your perfect partner is she's the one that brings you that drink or brings you that sandwich and not ask why you're obsessing about something. She knows why you're doing that. And at the end of the day, this is all going to come back to her, right? Because you're focusing on building something for the future. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're just, I want to do this for some kind of other guilty pleasure.
personal game.
Right. The outcome is a better life together.
Yeah. And so every single moment that I'm out of the house, I'm building something to go back into it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's.
I would say too, Alexis is the perfect second half to me because we both have our own strengths, and her strength 100% is the intuition side of things. She can foresee things that I am blind to. And so she'll point these things out and I'll be like, I don't know if you're right about that. And then
she's
happens.
always right, dude.
And I'm like,
Learn it.
damn.
So,
how did you see that? You know?
Always.
And so you just learn to use that and to trust it, and it's become a
My
really
wife
valuable
is
thing in our
Google. I
relationship.
call my wife my Google.
So
dude.
the thing that me and Gabe were just talking about the other day is how our wives usually have a better discernment and intuition.
Yeah.
Men usually in business have better levels of they can endure stress a lot more. Couldn't take my wife and put her in one of those situations. She wouldn't handle the amount of she just wouldn't do as well in the amount of stress.
Sure.
And to make a quick decision, and to kind of go through the day without really letting the emotions kind of go into place, because you're just sitting there literally logical on every single decision.
we're survival, they're emotional.
Yeah,
So-
but then that's the thing. I always bounce the ideas back over to her because I need her to see what I can't see, because my discernment is.
No, you're right.
Because I'm so almost at times robotic in certain things, so you don't catch. Hey, this person, kind of is a little bit on the, doesn't seem a little on the, greater side of things, or has your best intentions at play. I'll be like, what are you talking about? What did I tell you about that person? And for some apparent reason, they just know by just little simple things that they're paying attention to.
Well, I want to say one thing before we end here is, Scott, I've met a ton of gym owners over the last 4 years, tons. Obviously, we've done training at your facilities. And I will say this, man, if somebody's ever going to be successful of all the gym owners that I've met, I put my money on you, dude, 100%. And now that I found out you're fucking 30, bro, if we're on, what is it? What's the site? Calsh, right? Calsh? Is it the gambling one or the percentage site? You guys don't follow it. There's one is Trump gonna cuss in his next freaking
okay. It's
Calshi or whatever.
Yeah,
Anyway,
top picks or whatever.
I'm putting my money on you to be successful.
Hey, I heard rumor that you proposed inside the gym. I saw a picture floating around.
That's untrue. That was Photoshop. I will
Wait,
say,
who photoshopped that? Was that me?
It was this guy right here, Adam.
Oh, Alex comes up with some creative ass photoshops, dude.
I do want to say, like, I could not do any of this without my team. I couldn't do it without my managers. I couldn't do it without the trainers that we have in the facility. I think everybody is so talented and is bought into the overall vision of the world-class standard and the level of professionalism and what we put into our craft. And so I just want to say thank you to my whole team, because I genuinely could not do it without you.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. So, can you plug like where to find you, that kind of stuff? You want to drop your social media here and that kind of stuff? We'll have it in the description below, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
But so tell everybody.
Find me at Scott Selfmade on Instagram.
Awesome.
That's it. Find me there. We'll be expanding out into other social medias, but that's my main one.
Phenomenal. Okay, guys. Well, this has been a privilege.
Oh, and you can find my gyms, SMTF Del Mar and SMTF San Diego.
Yeah.
There it is. Awesome, guys. Well, it's been a privilege to have you here, Scott. And this is not going to be the last episode. I already know. We'll
be back.
Recurring guests.
We'll be
awesome,
back.
guys. Take care. Peace.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winning Daily YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and go right here and turn that notification bell on. We look forward to winning daily with you.